are on episode 7, and I'm so excited to have my bestie here with me. Y'all help me welcome Yolanda Ceasar. I like to call her Shirley.
Hey.
Yolanda, she's my best friend. She's been my best friend of 28 years, and she's an author. She's an entrepreneur. Again, she's my best friend, so that's all that really matters to me. But she's here to discuss from the desert to paradise with us. So I'm so excited to have you here today.
Yes, I am excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, seems like we done been through some things to get this recording, right?
We have.
So
That's right.
this must be something special. We're gonna make this real special for you guys because we feel like the enemy has been trying to just stop this recording. But hey, we're here, we're going to do it, and we're going to make it the best that we can give it. So tell me your thoughts on the podcast. Tell me your thoughts on From the Desert to Paradise.
I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
Oh.
Okay? I mean, it's helped me. You know? It's been giving me flashbacks, taking me back, but it's letting me know what areas that I'm not really healed in yet. You see, because what I realized just by watching the podcast, when you could talk about it and laugh about it, you healed.
Yeah.
But if you talk about it and you get a little choked up, you know, it's still some tender spots there that got to be healed.
Exactly.
And you know, the purpose, you know, as you're sharing with us, is for us to address it and to be healed.
That's right.
And to identify those behaviors, because those behaviors can't go to paradise. And I'm on that journey with you. I can't wait.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so tell me, what's your favorite episode thus far and why?
You know, I love them all. It's kind of like been the building, like a building block, you know. But episode 3, when she said sometimes you gotta know when to hold them and fold them, I was done. Where was I at? And I just busted out laughing. I mean, I was like smiling. I just couldn't believe it.
Girl, look.
I wanted to know, wait a minute. You said you was going off, and next thing you know, he was having a conversation on your side of the car.
Yeah, on my side of the car.
In my mind, I was like, how do you get on your side of the car?
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, you gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them. And when he pulled that car on the side of that road, like, I'm like, oh crap. Oh crap!
Girl,
oh Lord! And he came around to my side of the car. I was like, "Oh God, okay, yes, I apologize." You know, like I said, you gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them. And look, I folded in that moment, you know, because you know what I experienced in some of the previous episodes, and you learn from those experiences, and so you know, like, hey, you don't even want to go there.
Yes.
And then too, I needed something from him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God,
and so, look, we didn't get to talk about that before. How we just stay in toxic relationships or stay in things that keep us unhappy or bogged down just because we feel like we need somebody.
Yeah, I've stayed in just dumb situations because I wanted my stuff back. I was like, I got a plan.
You want your stuff back.
I just want that back. I want that back, and then I'm out.
So you had to get it slowly.
I had to get it slowly and be nice, and in your mind, you know. But it's like, oh my gosh.
I'm telling you. Well, I know that we share a similar experience. We both lost our fathers at a young age. I was very young. I was around 2 or 3, going on 3. I hadn't turned 3 yet. And I know you lost your father at a very tender age as well. How do you think that has affected you as far as your relationships with men? And tell me a little bit about that.
Well, you know what? To be honest, since we here, you give me strength to be honest because you're transparent. I will say this. This is true. And this is a toxic trait that I had to learn that was toxic. Okay? And then also it reminded me that it was toxic through watching your podcast. You know, I will leave a friend, a boyfriend, whatever, if they said a word that I didn't like. If anything, it didn't take nothing for me to say, okay, and then I will leave. But it was like I either left just like that or I stayed too long.
Stayed too long.
You know, in hopes that it's going to be that picture that I had in my mind, you know. But with my dad dying at an early age, for me, I fell on the spectrum as if I didn't want to depend on anybody. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do, get what I wanted to do, buy or, provide for myself.
Right.
Because I didn't want anything to come up to happen where if he leave or he dies, then I can't take care of myself. And I've seen that in my family, even with my aunts.
Right.
Where, the husband provided and took care of them. Even with my mom, my dad provided, and then they die, or, God forbid something happens.
Right.
And then everything is just like you go from here to.
Like it just falls apart.
Yes. Like thrown into poverty, thrown into hell because the breadwinner or the provider left. I did not want to be that way.
Okay.
And so I think that also caused me to want to be in control.
Okay. Control issues.
Yeah, because as long as I can control the situation, I didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
So if it was in a situation that I could not control, I just exit on.
Yeah.
Or if it was a situation that I really, really wanted, I found a way to control in other ways. And that's not healthy.
It's not healthy. It's not healthy. And we talked about how unhealthy behaviors can turn into unhealthy habits in another episode. And I talked about how, in high school, we would have these friends and they would fight their boyfriends and get in little scuffles. And then all of a sudden you scuffling with your boyfriend and you think it's okay and y'all all laughing about it the next day.
Yes.
And, that unhealthy behavior turned into a habit that followed me into relationships into my adulthood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I lay hands on, I did the same thing. I lay hands and
we thought it was okay. We didn't see anything wrong with it.
No, so I was very, because I didn't want to fight, but I was verbally. If I felt threatened, this got me off you. My mouth will make you get away from me. I've always been like that, even in high school. And I remember, matter of fact, see, I just had a memory. I buried that stuff. I don't remember the boyfriend's name. I don't remember the faces. Any of my exes, I don't remember them. But this one just came back to me. I was dating this one guy, and I don't know what he said, but I just didn't want to deal with him no more. I just broke up. And I had to fight the brother. Yes, the brother came and was arguing with me, and I used to be a softball pitcher. I just went and got a bowl of grease. I'll never forget it. You remember the grease, the color yellow, green, what was that?
Oh, the grease, like the Black Magic?
Yeah, and then what was it used to come blue?
Yeah.
I got a big jar of that, and he was still running his mouth. And I got that softball hand, and it missed his nose right there. He just went and saw it go past. And I said, I missed for a reason. Yeah, I made them scared of me.
Oh,
honey.
my gosh. I'm telling you, I done ran into it with a couple brothers, with a brother before, but I
don't understand. It's always the siblings that want to come after me, not them, the siblings. So, and if I didn't feel safe with them, if I felt, then this is true. If I felt that in the event that it got physical, I wasn't going to win, I wouldn't date you.
Really? Really?
Now, I wouldn't date anybody that was real big, that I felt like I wouldn't date anybody.
So you telling me you thought about that prior to the dating?
Prior to, yes.
What?
I know that's weird. But hey, it is traumatic. Trauma.
And then we talked about a little bit earlier where we talked about how toxicity travels from generation to generation and how, we think it's okay because we've seen these things happen with our aunts. We've seen our aunts defend themselves.
And they get that because they seen their mothers having to defend themselves. I mean, my aunts done shot their husbands, done stabbed their husbands. They done beat their husbands. None of them, if you hit them, it was going to be your life. Every last one of them. And then if you see that, and then I see my cousins get girlfriends that they beat on, and the women stayed, and you see that you don't want that, but then it's like you just keep attracting what you don't want.
Exactly. And that's us still wandering in the desert.
In the desert.
When I say wandering in the desert and, the desert itself, what does that mean to you?
When you thinking about the desert, that's a dry place.
Yes.
Now things can live in the desert.
Things can live in the desert.
You got cactuses live in the desert, but you don't touch them because you'll hurt yourself trying to touch them.
Yeah, exactly.
They got water in them.
Yeah.
Bitter water. But it's unsafe because of the thorns. You got the chameleons, you got the spiders that can look like the sand. It's nothing authentic in the desert.
Yep. Also got mirages.
Oh God. Fake oasis. And you know what?
You think they look good?
Girl,
and
oh
it's an illusion.
My
It's an
God.
illusion.
What? Let me lady, you better get delivered from them 6-packs and them pretty men, whatever. Just get delivered from them all together. just put them over there. Not saying that they're all bad, but I'm just saying
that they're all bad.
We
just
all
make sure it's not a mirage.
Just make sure it's not a mirage.
It's somebody of good character.
Yep. One of my good friends told me. He said to me, you can't pretend that long. After 2 weeks, after a month, after a year, he said, that's the real one, Yolanda.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who they are.
Yes. But it's important to identify, when you say that, it makes me think about identifying the red flags. You know, we start seeing red flags early on, but we choose to ignore them. Especially in the beginning, you thinking you got all these butterflies, and I like to talk about euphoric feelings and of happiness and everything. But the red flags are there. We choose to ignore them, and then we end up in a situation where we should have acknowledged something a year ago.
That's right. And then I think another thing, even like when you say red flags, sometimes like with me, let's just say if I saw someone and I wanted them, I will position myself like I'm going to get that one. It became a game to me.
Wow, that sounds like a male mentality.
I guess it was. If I saw him, in my mind, I'm working that thing out.
Oh my gosh. See, I've always told you, we've been friends for 26 years, and I've 28. I've always told her, like, I have never been that girl.
Complete opposite. Honey, I would, listen, and it just happens. If I see him, I just give me an inch. If the eye contact stayed a little bit too long, I'm in there.
Oh my goodness. See, I would never try to be in there. If I talk about this in episode 6, if I'm not approached, then I'm not going to take the opportunity to try to say anything.
But that's that control thing of me wanting to control the situation.
Yes.
Because, it's like, okay, if I go get him, I can put him back whenever I want to because I don't have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So, it was what I wanted. It's never about what they wanted.
Right.
It was the story that was in my mind.
Yes. So that makes me think about how you said the control, you want to control after the loss of your father. You wanted to be in control of situations. But my issue was I wanted male validation. So if that man didn't validate me, if that man didn't approach me, good. I mean, I just was, if he see me, he don't validate me or say anything to me, then he's not to be connected with me.
I would have never.
Yes. I mean, I'm really just putting that together right now. When I think about the male validation and you talking about control.
So how different are we?
I know.
And that's true because I would, And I was, if I see something I wanted, I went. Now, whether it lasted or not.
Right.
Because I've always had this thought, is not what somebody else thinks or say, is what I know up here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's true, though. That's true.
And
But I guess my thing have always been, if somebody is physically attracted to me or want to be in my presence, they're going to make that known. And if they don't make that known to me, then I take it as a form of rejection. Not so much rejection, I don't care, but I'm just saying, I just take it as someone that's not meant to be in my presence. And so I've always wanted that male validation, and I talk about that, in a couple episodes, how that was important to me, and how I think that kept me in the desert a little bit, because that's what I was looking for, yearning for, was that companionship, that male validation, because I felt that sense of abandonment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and one situation, I had to go to counseling. It was so and I had to get counseling. Like that situation was so rough. I had to go get counseling, and what I learned in that counseling session, she said one thing that just really just helped me, because she said, when you experience trauma at whatever age, or if you see somebody else, that your mom or your dad, your brain shuts off, and you say you don't want to be like that person at all.
Right.
And what happens is, not only do you don't want the bad qualities, but you don't want the good qualities either. And I used to look at my mom, I said, I'll never be like my mom. Ever. And ever be like her. But there's some qualities that she had that I realized when I went to counseling that I needed, and I wish I had them. Because she won't let you hurt her.
Right.
She's confident. She speaks her mind. She doesn't hold anything in. Where I hold everything in, and then I explode.
Okay.
Or if you hurt my feelings, I don't go ahead and address it. I internalize that. And then it, play with your mind. Like then, and that's why certain words, people will say my brain will just shut down, and then I'll just go away, because I feel like that's a potential to hurt me, unless in my mind it's the cat and mouse, which I don't understand why that was like that in me. But they said my dad was like that.
Really?
And see, when he died, that's something that I wanted, and I've always wanted to be like him and do what he did for us.
Right.
And so the mama gene got turned off, and the daddy gene got turned on. And that's why it's like, Yolanda, that's not how it's supposed to be.
And that's who you are. That's who you are.
Can you say that something?
Wow, this is good.
Oh, well, we done had some therapy
This
sessions.
is really good. This is really good.
Take me a drink. Oh, God.
This is really good. So we talked about vacationing in the desert. Remember that? So vacationing in the desert, when you're having a good time. Oh my gosh, you're having fun.
The song came to my mind. Mary J. Blige said it the best. I love my Mr. Wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Mr. Wrong. We get along great, but he's still Mr. Wrong.
Still Mr. Wrong.
Love my Mr. Wrong. And then you like it, Mr. Wrong. Lord have mercy. Them the kinds you got to run from.
Them the kinds you have to run from.
You got to run, block, cut. It's over.
But it's hard. It's hard. And, when you're vacationing in the desert, you don't realize that you're in the desert, because
they can't contribute nothing to you. They can't add life to you. They can't add value to you. All you know is you just having fun. And you drying up all at the same time.
Exactly. You having fun. You're not worried about what's going on at home. You're not worried about those areas that you need healing in. Right now, it's those euphoric feelings of happiness, in which we talked about happiness and joy.
It's two different things.
It's two different things.
Yep. Joy is an internal state of being.
Yes.
Happiness is based on what's happening on the outside. Your external situation, if you have real joy, anything that's happened to you externally should not affect the joy that's on the inside.
Exactly.
And one thing about being in the desert, even when I'm, listening to the podcast, and when I think about how just strategic and how awesome you go from desert to paradise, in the desert, we are operating in happiness, and we are existing and not, what's the other word?
Surviving.
You're surviving, you're existing.
Right.
But you're not thriving.
Not thriving. You're not being nourished.
Right.
Yeah, you're not flourishing. Yes. So that's really, really interesting because we were talking about joy and peace, and we, describe joy as being God-given.
Right.
God-given joy. Okay, once he gives us the joy, we're going to develop peace in all areas of our lives. And if there's any type of interruption, it doesn't affect our whole being.
Right. And you know what? I just got a revelation. When you think about it, the Bible said the joy of the Lord is my strength.
Yes.
Why do you need strength? Apparently you're going to need strength because, what is that scripture? Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
Yes.
So when you're, and then another scripture came to me. We never ask God. He tells you in the Bible, ask me so that your joy may be fulfilled.
Oh, your joy may be fulfilled.
What is going to bring you joy? He wants you to ask him so he can fulfill that. We ask him all these pleasures, knowing that this external stuff is not going to bring you internal joy.
Exactly.
It may give you happiness.
Yes.
But see, that's where a praying amiss coming at, because we asking the wrong thing. We need to ask for what's going to give me joy.
Yeah.
And like you said, that peace of mind, and I like how you said, and actually you clarified paradise, and I really that was great in episode 1 and episode 2, and you reiterated throughout all the episodes that peace, that paradise is a state of mind.
It is.
You're not in paradise just because you found the one or just because you're successful, but you're in paradise because of the state of mind you in, and that kind of blessed me.
Yes, your state of mind. I'm glad that blessed you. And what I would like to talk about is, I started with the most extreme stories.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a time frame from when I was 20, until I'm in my late 30s, okay?
Yeah.
So we talk about things that happened that were very drastic, but they kind of got lighter as I went, because you learn things over time and you know how to start removing yourself from certain situations before they get as bad as they possibly can.
Yeah. And it just made me think about it. While you were going through in your 20s, I was doing a lot of avoidance because I never wanted to go through.
Right.
And one time my former first lady, I'll never forget what she told me when I was 30-some years old acting crazy. I said, I was ashamed because I said, this is stuff I should have been acting like in my 20s. And see, but in my 20s, I was avoiding those types of, because
Right.
But then when you get hooked, it's like, it doesn't matter. You're going to experience certain things in life, whether you're 20, you're 30, you're 40, you're 60, you're 80. I'm a nurse, and I talk to women in their 70s going through.
Wow.
I had a lady who was 67 years old in my office crying, saying, "It's never happened to me before. I can't believe it. I just love him." Honey, it's always that one.
It's always that
that's
one.
going to come and teach you life lessons.
I'm telling you, I had one that just... That was the one that made me say enough is enough.
Now, you know what? I think those are the kinds that you run from. Those are what you call devils. You got to run from them.
That one made me surrender, Lord.
Ooh, golly, I think that, honey, them the kind that you go to Jesus on your knees. Lord, please take it from me, Lord. You got to get freed up and delivered.
Oh, my God.
I had one of them, too.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
I had one of them about twice. Oh, Lord. I was in the bed for a week. Oh, God. I'll never forget that one. That was... And you know what? I will say this. One time, and I think you remember this. Okay, so I had one. I just loved him too. Oh God, I loved him. Oh, I loved him.
You loved him?
I loved him.
You gotta tell me who that was, lady.
Oh, that's the one that it didn't work out, and I was just in my bed for a week.
Oh,
and you kept calling, get out that bed, Yolanda.
Yeah.
I said, well, I got to get myself together. You said, Yolanda, where our hearts are not broken.
Yes.
It was broken one time. It could never be broken again.
Yes.
We just disappointed.
We disappointed.
I said, and I got right on up and I was straight.
Disappointed. Yeah. That was good.
That was good.
I'm glad I could be there for you in that moment.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, you helped me right there because I was like,
am I
going through this again? And that's another reason. I didn't want to go through that again.
I know.
Like, I met some that I really like. If I like them too much, I got to go.
Yeah.
No, I ain't going back through that.
I kind of talk about that a little bit in episode 6, where I was just, that one this episode 6 hasn't aired at this moment.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah,
Lord,
but I talk about that a
them.
little bit, like how I just did not want to date.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to take time for myself, because once you get over the hurt and pain, you do not want to step back in that area. You don't want, I had my peace in my singleness.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I had my peace in my
you.
singleness, and that's where I wanted to stay.
Yeah.
Episode 5, enough was enough, and I surrendered to God. Me and God got in alignment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just did not want to disturb my peace. I was happy in my singleness.
Yeah.
You can have peace in your singleness. And that's what people need to understand too. Remember, peace is a state of mind.
Yeah.
So if your state of mind is at peace in your singleness and your job, with your children, your family, your church, your community, then holistically you're doing well.
That's right.
You're in your paradise. Whatever that means to you,
That's
you're
right.
in your paradise.
That's right.
So, we have those ones though that make you just but sometimes it takes those King Kongs.
I gotta take a sip on that one.
Yeah, sometimes it takes those King Kongs.
King Kong, boy.
Because it can't take just anybody to break us the way
Right.
God needs to break us,
Right.
to be able to use us, to be able to prepare us,
Right.
to be able to preserve us for who He has for us. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, because sometimes we break ourselves, okay, and we never recover. But when God breaks you, it's different because He gonna put you right back together. Some people need to be recalled.
Yeah.
There's a recall out on you.
Yeah.
You need to come back to the shop.
Yes.
Let's fix you back up before we send you back out.
Yes.
And that just made, I was thinking about when you said about this last episode, enough as enough.
Yeah.
You said, I don't want to date no more.
I don't.
And in your mind, sometimes you go back because you don't see anybody.
Yeah.
Because this can happen on a subconscious level. Enough is enough. And then people might ask you out, and in your mind, you can't even
process it.
It's like you go out a few times and then you just say, if I don't want it. You're not interested. Enough is enough. But hey, things come for God to get all that out of you.
Yes.
And if you still got all that fight in you and all that that negative energy in you, you're going to go right back into the desert.
That's right.
Until all that stuff come out, because you cannot bring that over there in paradise.
Exactly.
Because you're going to mess up the people in paradise.
We ready to get biblical. That makes me think about the children of Israel.
Oh, Lord.
How they wandered and wandered.
For 40 years.
Yes.
On a 3-day journey. Was it 3 days?
Yeah.
3 days, 10 days? That was not a long journey for them to be there 40 years.
Exactly. But God had to clear out generations.
Yeah. Kill off people.
Yeah.
Because you can't take that unrenewed soul over there in paradise. Because in paradise, there's healing and there's healed people.
Yes.
If God sends somebody from the future to where you are in the state that you in, and you will mess it up for yourself, and you will lose that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Or try to treat that like you did all the other. But one thing about it, you know what? God, I can't remember the saying about, a pastor said something about sometimes He would take somebody that will come along that has your healing and that you know, and you can't recognize it, and then you be trying to do this to them. And they just standing there when they're the ones with the healing.
Oh, wow.
Because you can't give what you don't have. Healing comes from within. If you don't have healing within you, then how can I come and heal you?
Exactly. And that's one thing that I've been trying to focus on and trying to express when I'm doing this podcast is make sure that we're focusing on healing.
Yeah.
You know, focusing on healing, asking for help, and seeking guidance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the three things that we need.
Healing, guidance.
Healing, help, and guidance.
Healing, help, and guidance.
Yes, those are the three things that God can provide in our lives to help us into paradise.
Yeah.
Just think, if you ask for help, He's going to help you in every area of your life.
That's right.
Wherever you're broken, He
That's
can
right.
provide you with the healing.
That's right. That makes me
And
think
the guidance.
about, yeah, you said something in, was it episode 4 when you said, or was it the last episode when you said you had to go back and look at yourself and see what was broken in you to figure out why you keep attracting the same kind of.
Exactly, or attracted to the same type of individuals.
Yep.
So that's important because that's when you have to really just, you know, be self-aware, become self-aware of what's going on with you, within you.
Right.
And if you don't know what that is, you just have to go to God and ask for healing in the areas that you're broken.
And a lot of times we go to God not being honest, as if He don't already know. And when you
Time
go
out for that.
Yeah, if you don't, this one preacher, she God rest her soul, and she was going through in her marriage. I'll never forget. We was at her church. You know, I went to her church to pray, because I was going through. She was giving me counsel. Of a joker. Joker, one of them jokers over there. And she said to me, I go to God and I tell Him about how I feel, and I'm honest with Him. And He hears me. And that stuck with me, because sometimes if you're not honest with yourself, then you can't go and be honest with God.
Yeah.
And then when you going to be honest with God, that's you verbalizing, oh, I really am a hot man. Oh, I really am this. Oh, I really do. You know, I don't have it together. I look like I got it together, but I don't. I remember telling one of my friends that I ain't got it together. I don't want to be fake no more.
Yeah.
Just get tired of it. I've been performing for a long time, and I don't want to perform no more.
Well, you know, you were always good at theater.
I was.
And drama.
Oh, God, Lord. Ooh, that's another show. The performance. I just had a flash of me on the side of the road. Put on a great show.
All right.
I don't know what happened. Lord, that was.
Let me ask you something. So you know I love stories, right?
Yes.
You know I like to tell a story, and storytelling is important to me.
Yes.
Okay. So can you tell me a time or a very short story, either where you were vacationing in the desert, or where you had to say enough was enough, or Mirage, or Exposed?
Right. Yes, I can. Okay, I'm gonna say the. I don't even want to say the scenario, because you know I'm gonna say the scenario, because this is the truth. So in my mind, I had a.
You know when you just start laughing, it was funny.
Oh, it's out there. I had a getaway plan.
You had to get away from
I had a getaway plan.
But that's not abnormal.
There was some objects and things that I wanted. So I just stayed until I got one by one. And then I really didn't want to leave, though, because I was vacationing in the desert. I had fun. But I'm going to tell you what broke the fun for this particular case. I don't want to say it out loud, but it was broken over some fish.
Fish?
Did I ever tell you that? Went fishing. And I
remember you telling me that, and it really did break. You know, I talked about how I talked about how sometimes it can be the smallest thing that really just push you over the edge.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But you've experienced so much trauma and drama with this particular individual that when you got to this point, it was a breaking point.
It was a breaking point because it wasn't even about me.
Right.
It was about that I'm going to take this fish that was out all night long, okay, and give it to my grandbaby that loves fish, and to my mama. In my mind, I just felt like, you don't give a darn. And it was like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I went driving, and that fish was stinking in my car. Because they went and packed the fish up and put it in my car like it was just beautiful. Oh, how do you think I drove, and that was the breaking point. I pulled over to the side of the road, and I was crying, and I told the Lord. I was honest with God. I said, Lord, I like them, and I love them. I equivalent to like cake. Like I love cake. I like them like I like cake. Neither one of them is doing me any good.
Yeah.
If you don't take this from me, I don't know what's going to happen. Like I'm just, and at that moment, I guess I was honest with God how I felt. It was like something came in and just took it out of me, and my eyes opened up, and I got to looking like, where am I?
Right.
What was I thinking?
Right.
Like I was. I don't know what happened when I came to myself.
When you came
I was
to
like,
yourself.
Yolanda, girl, what was you thinking? How did that even happen to you?
Right. Well,
It's
so
always a
now
breaking
we
point.
talk about from the desert to paradise. Where do you feel that you are? Wait a minute, let me rephrase that. Where do you feel you are in your life right now? Do you feel like you're on the verge of coming out of the desert? Do you feel like you're in paradise? Tell me your placement now.
I'm definitely in paradise.
Good for you.
I mean, I think after when I opened my eyes,
right.
I think I came to a new life. You know, but when you look at it, when you come out and you see what you lost in paradise, I mean, in the desert, because you're going to lose some stuff in the desert.
Yes.
But it's good stuff. Everything that I lost was stuff that God couldn't do nothing with anyway. He had to get all that out of me. Because I would have been hell raising to my husband. I probably wouldn't even listen to him. As soon as he said, no, Yolanda, we ain't doing this. Oh, okay. In my mind, I can't comprehend why I can't do it.
Right.
You know, one of my good friends, we used to have conversations on that. I don't understand that. I didn't understand that. You got to remember that. My mindset, I wanted to be like my dad.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I didn't want to be like my mom. But my mom, I needed what she had because that what balanced me out.
Right.
And so I had to ask God and had to get those qualities, good qualities from her to balance me out because I was off balance. And so God will put women in my life that will say, no, we're not going to do it like that. And in my mind, I can't comprehend it. Like, why? You know, remember the time that me and you, oh, Lord. When I went to your house, a matter of fact, I told I was talking to somebody the other day about boundaries.
Yeah.
I didn't have boundaries. You know, God put people in my life to teach me boundaries. You know, because when my dad died, all parenting stopped.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So just think, after you might, I can't remember how old I was, 12, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah. You
somewhere.
told me about that age.
Yeah. So when he died, parenting stopped. My mom couldn't parent me anymore because she went right into what happened, into herself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it was just traumatic. So just think, you at that age, and now you have no parenting.
No parenting.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
And then even when I look at my children, and I remember this was years ago, me and you were talking that you said, Yolanda, have you noticed that my parenting stopped when my kids got 12? It was like it just turned off in me. And then I didn't parent them anymore. You know, it was like we all did things together as if I wasn't the mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And your past, if you don't understand that, and we carry these behaviors into our future.
Right.
And one thing about being in the desert, you got to go back to that place where you got damaged at. No matter how old you was, but if you was 10 years old, 5 years old, God gonna bring you all. The desert is designed to bring you all the way back to that door on when the trauma occurred. You got to get healed, and then you can be on a journey on your way out of paradise.
That's right.
So when you said in the last episode that you came to your awareness of what you were seeking, and you confessed that you were seeking male validation, God was able to go in and just, let's go back to when she was 2 years old. She's acknowledged that. She realized that. Let me heal her up real good. I'm going to put her through this test and make her live in that state. Put these situations that's currently keeping her there until she come to a realization that it's out of my control.
Yeah, it's out of my control, and that's what happened.
And and then when you wake up, everybody around you is new. Are they new, or are you new?
That's right. Are you new? Are you new?
Are you new?
Well, this has been great. This has been really, really good. Listen, I thank you for joining me, Yolanda. This has
thank
been
you for helping me.
Yes.
Woo-wee. Whoa, this is intense over here. My friend is good, because I tell you, I would have stayed right over there in that corner.
Oh my God.
I ain't got to tell my story.
Yes, but it's important to talk about it, because one thing that we're doing, we're helping people come out of the desert. We want them to hear other women. We want them to know, like, hey, you're not the only one going through this. We are here for you. We are a support system, so I thank you for sharing your story. I thank you for supporting me, commenting, sharing.
It's good.
All the things that you've done to help me on this journey.
It's good. Now, people need to hear it.
Yeah. And now I would like to give you a quick opportunity, just to let people know about your books. I know you have 2 books that's currently released, and you're working on 2.
Yes.
You want to share the names and when they'll be available?
Yep. So I have a current book out called Divine Healings. I wrote that when I was in ICU, working in ICU at Baptist Hospital, and just God was showing me, because we're nursing, and nursing is a science.
Yeah.
Okay. And he showed me the different phases of healing, that you can get healing in your bodies, you need healings in your soul, and then there's people's spirits need to be healed as well. And he showed, this is how you do it when you want to be healed in your body. This is what you need. This is how you do it. You want to be healed in your soul. This is what you need. Because I had depression.
Right.
Real depression. Functional depression.
Right.
Like, that's a mental illness.
Yes, it is.
Maybe I probably had anxiety too, because my throat used to close up. I was messed up.
Did we battle with alcoholism?
You know what? I'm going to tell you. So.
It's not funny though, but did we?
I'm going to tell you why I never was alcoholic.
Nah, I ain't say alcoholic.
Or alcoholism.
Is that the same thing?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I
don't think so, because we had fun with it.
We had fun with alcohol. Okay, we did. It was delicious. It was great. But Miss Jordan.
What Miss Jordan do?
Said something in nursing school that I would never forget, and it stuck with me.
What she say?
She said, you never drink alone. Any 2 times you got somebody drinking alone, you got depression. And so I never drank alone. That's why I always wanted to go out. I wanted to go out and drink.
Look, tell them about your other books. You got
Lord have mercy.
That's released.
So anyway,
and you got 2 on the way. Tell them real quick so we can close it out.
Divine Healings, The New Entrepreneur, and then my new book, The Book of Amen, is going to be out very, very soon. It will be out, I'm hoping that by next month. Okay. And then the Book of Commands will be out by end of summer. And the Book of Amens is all prayers. It's all the prayers I ever wrote to God, that the prayers that help me changed my life.
Right.
So new Christians don't know how to pray, get the book of Amen and read the prayers. It's a prayer for every area of your life. And then the book of commands is for the little seasoned Christian that knows that they can go and not just ask, but they can command things. You got to know who you are to be able to command. And then my third book that will be coming out by the first of the year is called the Book of Taleo. It's done, put a period at the end of it, meaning we already there.
That's good. That's good. Do you have anything on Amazon right now?
Divine Healings and the New Entrepreneur.
Okay, perfect.
Yep,
perfect,
it's on
perfect.
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. It's all different languages. You can get the ebook, whatever.
Perfect, perfect. So check her out. Okay, Yolanda. Thank you again. Thank you. I appreciate you. Listen, we had a good time tonight recording this episode. Again, you guys helped me. Thank Yolanda for being here today. It's just been a joy. So we're going to close it out, and we thank you guys for joining us. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.